get started. Yeah. So this class is a virtual reformer class. So we try to do everything what that we would normally do in our reformer class. Same movements, same muscle group, same form, everything, but just using some props instead. Hopefully sooner than later we'll be returning back to our real reformer, but you'll see that there are a lot of things you can actually do on your own that does not require a full machine. So again, have a flex band if you have one. It's good if it's a little bit longer because it gives you more movement, more range of motion for doing the leg exercises that we're going to do. And then light weights, I have these. This is what we use in the studio, 2-pound toning balls. But I also picked out from my cabinet in the pantry two just soup cans that you can use. It's going to be what, a pound or maybe a pound and a half each. So just get those things ready, and I'll turn on the music and we'll get started. All right, so I'm going to angle my screen a little bit. So the first few exercises we're going to do is actually going to be a standing warm-up. So this will be the same thing that you would do on the reformer. And Robert, feel free to do whatever you want here as far as being on the reformer, or if you want to try this, the skeleton version instead. So you're going to take your band and you're going to step onto it. And I'm going to back up a little bit so you can see what I'm doing with my feet here. I'm placing my feet in a V, and that's just like you would be in a Pilates stance on the reformer. You're going to hold on to the ends of your band here, and just going into a little plie. So basically your knees will push out onto the band. And at the same time, just like when we're starting our class, thinking about how you're keeping your posture. So stay really nice and tall here through your spine, pushing out through the knees, getting a small turnout, and then lifting up and coming up to the core at the same time. So really nice and tall here. And just small movement for now. Remember, this is our first exercise. We're just going to warm up our feet, our ankles, our legs, our core, everything. And I'm thinking about your breath here. So you can go ahead and exhale as you're extending the legs. And it's fine to keep your arms relaxed too here. If you want a little less tension, less springs, then you keep your arms straight as you're doing this. Okay, so we're gonna go into a little releve with this, and all we need to do is bend, straighten out the legs, and then rise up onto the ball of your feet, set your heels back down, and come down. So you get the full range of motion here through your ankles. So up and down. And if you need to hold on to something, maybe it's too hard to do this, just grab a chair, or if you have anything else you can hold on to here, you need a little support. This is a little bit of balance work here. Down and up. It's going to be surprisingly hard here after a few repetitions, especially with the band in place. But you still want to think about how you're coming up through the core, staying connected to your abdominals. Here we go, 2 more times. Down, up. 1 more time. Down and up. Very good. Now place your feet in parallel with your feet together. So this is going to simulate when we do toes wrapped and heels. So 2 in 1 here. Keep your band by your sides. Bend and straighten out. A small plie here. Notice we don't want to go too far because we don't want to put too much stress on our knees here. But just a small bend. Stretching that ankle out. Very good. Now we're going to go up onto releve. Make sure the band doesn't slip under or out from under your feet here. And you can lift a little bit in the band here. Get that heel lift up and down. And I should say this works without the band too. You don't have to have a band around your feet. Feel like you're working into your glutes a little bit more here. There we go. Stay nice and tall. One more time. Very good. So now stay on your band and just walk your feet back here. So you have the ball of your feet on the band, and you can stretch the band out a little bit to the side. And we're gonna do our little running. One heel up, one heel down. Again, if you need to hold on to something here, you can grab the wall or grab a bookshelf if you need a little balance work here. Feel free to speed it up now. Heel, toe, get that running going. As much or as little tension as you want here. Again, come up tall through your spine, tall through your core. This is a footwork where you don't get to do much in other forms of exercise. Working your feet is important. Here we go. 4, 3, 2, 1. Very good. Okay, now we're going to step it out. So go ahead and stretch your band out a little bit so it's about hip width apart. If you don't have a band here, all you need to do is basically get into your squat position. And to create that spring tension here, you're just going to scrunch the band up into our fingertips, stick the tailbone out, and then press. Stick the tailbone out and press. So it's just like your squat here. And we still want to keep our abdominals, keep the core engaged, keep that neutral spine so the tailbone goes out. Very good. Feel free to bend the knees a little bit more, reach out a little bit more. But the more you come down here, the more you want to get the tailbone to go out, the chest to open up here. And yes, you can add pulling the band up a little bit. Pulling the band up. Pulling it up. Feel upper body there too. Here we go, 3 more. And 2. And 1. Very good. Now we take it from where we are and just basically turn your feet out. I'm going to try to get my toes inside the band, but you're stretching the band out to the side. So you're going to just go into our second position, plie outwards here. You're just getting a little bit more of that turnout, a little more of that glute and inner thigh work here. Pushing out into the band. 4, 3, 2, and 1. The last one, I'm going to stay down there and just kind of hang on the springs a little bit. Pulse it up, drop into that plie. Try to keep your heels down here. Press it up. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and we come back. Whew. Now we step out of the band. Hopefully you feel like your legs got a little warm up here. We get that from the footwork every time we do this. So now a little mobility exercise before we come to the mat. So for this exercise, all you need to do is put your arms overhead, interlace your fingers, and just stretch out to the side. Come back. Just gonna get that stretch to the rib cage here. I have a feeling that we're probably sitting more than we normally do. Watching more Netflix. So we're getting tight and short in our spine and in our ribs. The breath can't move in. Want to get that going here. Very good. 2 more times. 1 more time. So now we're going to stay with this. Come back in the center. Put your hands on your shoulders and then twist. Back. Rotate. Just get that upper torso to rotate here. Your hips can stay square here. You're just rotating from the center of your spine. And again, this is where we kind of hold a lot of that tension. Try to reach into it. 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then open it up here. Shake it out there. Okay, so now it's time for us to get to the mat. This is going to be the equivalent of doing work on the carriage on our back here. So you need both of our props. We need to sort of mix and match here as we do this little sequence. So we're going to start by coming back onto our back. Roll that carefully. Some of you might like a little pillow for your head, so feel free to hold a little something. Even a book can be a good thing. I happen to have a lot of them. So you can put a book behind your head, and then you have your little headrest, just like you have a reformer. So you're going to roll back here. Come back onto your back. Get your headrest ready if you need it. And I'm going to start with a neutral spine. So we're not changing your alignment or anything. So you're going to pick up your little weights. And again, I think I'll demo with my soup cans here just to show you how easy this is. But keep your neutral spine. Bring your feet to tabletop. So your deep core muscles are working. Arms by your sides. Very simple exercise. We're going to take a breath in. On the breath out, we're just going to float up. And come back down. And notice here that I'm staying with my neutral spine. You want to keep that little gap. Getting that core work to really start building up here so your deep abdominals are connected with little space underneath the small of your back here. 3, 2, and 1. And you get to set our feet back down, little recovery here. Okay, now we take it from neutral to imprint. We want to get a little variation going. So just move from neutral to imprint. We know this one. So a little pelvic tilt here, getting that release through the lower back. So you're lengthening your spine while you're doing this. You really get that full release and relaxation through the back here. Here we go. 2 more. 1 more time. Now staying connected in your imprint, and we're going to return back to that tabletop position again. Now we're going to remain here for a while. Notice the angle is pretty open through my legs. And we're going to pick up our waist just like we did. So keep your elbows by your sides here, and then you're going to press your arms down to the floor. So I'm holding onto my soup cans here and just pressing the arm down, get a little tricep extension, and then releasing back. And again, you can see, do I want my headrest here? Maybe I don't. Maybe I want to keep my neck a little flatter for this, and that works fine too. These are a little heavier, so if you want to increase the weights here, you can. See what works for your body. You're on the reformer right now. This is what we're doing on the reformer. Triceps in tabletop. Okay, let's go into a little bigger movement now. So we'll lift the arms up. We did this exercise already with a roll up. So I want you to extend your arms a little bit now on the diagonal. Get the mid back and the shoulders. So one important thing about this exercise, whether we're here on the mat today or you're on the reformer, is you want to keep the back body connected. So I'm pressing my shoulder blades down. I'm pressing my rib cage down into the mat. And keeping the imprint too. Lots going on here. And then we take the arms out to the sides. Notice how close to the floor you can be here, but you still want to get your mid back to stay connected. That's the hard part here. Remove my soup cans so we can get the range of motion. So it can be really small right here, or it can be bigger if we have the range of motion. If your shoulders tolerate these, you can go all the way out to the sides. And we have not moved out of that tabletop, so you know your core muscles are working here. Pressing the arms down to the sides. Very good. Now take it into a little circle. So bring the arms up to shoulder height, out to the side. Be careful with your shoulder here, and then bring it back down again. Up, circle, exhale, bringing the hands to the sides. Inhale as they come up into the center. Exhale to the sides. Inhale to the center. Feel free to roll up with this. This is a nice one to add a little abdominal component to. Get that undulating work here. And reverse. With or without the head coming up here. You can do it as big or as small as you want it to be here. One last time. And then we finally get to set our feet back down. Very good. So hopefully this feels like when we're on the reformer, it's like that exertion we get from staying in one place there, repeating different segments, different exercises. So let's do a bridge now. We want to open up the legs and the back of the body a little bit more here. So if this feels like a lot of work, a lot of strain for your hamstrings, just go easy with this one. And the other thing that you can do here is lift your toes up a little bit off the ground and just let your spine very carefully roll up. Take a breath and then roll back down, come back down again. So roll and lift up, take a breath, roll back down. Kind of get the back of the body, get the glutes engaged here, and then back down again. Now, do we have any props we can use here? If you have your little band with you, take your band out and place it on top of your hips. So we don't have a foot bar necessarily, but we can create resistance for the legs here as we do this. I'm looping my band around my hands and I'm putting my hands down on the floor. And then without the toes lifting up here, you can do the same thing. Roll up, take a breath, roll down, take a breath. Easy, easy here. Building up that strength to the back of the body. Gets easier every time. Here we go one more time. Roll it up. Take a breath. Roll it back down and relax. Very nice. So one thing that I think most people love about the reformer work, and it's hard to emulate that without the reformer, is the feet in straps. But we can actually do that here with our band. So you're gonna put your feet into the band. Now, this can be harder to do on the mat than on the reformer, so feel free to stay imprinted here if that feels better for your back. Neutral spine if that feels okay for your body. Stay imprinted if that's more comfortable for you. You can kind of see how this goes. So put your feet in a little V stance now. And then bring your heels, so that's the heels together, toes apart. Knees are turned out here. And then again, the back in the position that feels right for you. I'm putting my band between my thumb and the rest of my fingers. And then you're just going to send the leg another way here. And then come back again. Pushing it out. Exhale as we're pushing the legs away. You can point your feet as you extend the legs out here, and then bend the knees and flex the feet as you're coming back in. Again, you want to keep the ribcage down. So getting the powerhouse going here. To modify, I would just make it a little smaller, maybe going up a little bit more towards the ceiling. To progress the movement, I would go further out. A little more challenge here. The lower the legs go here, the harder your glutes are going to be working. We get that going here. And there's all kinds of ways we can get the upper body involved. So if you happen to have a long enough band, you can put your arms over your shoulders. This is a really good way to integrate your upper core muscles too. So feel free to do this. It's a little shoulder stabilization though, so if you have any shoulder issues, I would leave the elbows maybe on the floor and see what works for here. Okay, so we change now from turned up position to parallel feet. Walk your feet to parallel, and then we do just knees together, feet together, pushing out here. A little more getting the back body here. Glutes and hamstrings. And again, we have levels of this, arms up, arms down, big movement, small movement. And if you're staying imprinted right now, it's going to be work to keep that imprint. So now let's go into a straight leg position. This is one of those we love to do, I think. We're going to come up, just keep the legs straight, go up as high as you possibly can, and then drop it back down. This is a good one, if you can, to try to work on that, maintaining that neutral spine when the legs come up, so your tailbone stays down here. Once you lower the legs, you can imprint if you need to. And then once again, when you're coming up here, going back to that neutral curve, really working that hamstring length. And you can feel that as you get far down enough here, you're really getting your upper abdominals going too. Stretching it up. We're doing 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. All right, quick transition now. Take your left foot out of the loop, step it onto the floor, or extend it all the way down, depending on how tight that hamstring is. Now hold onto your band here with one or both hands and circle the leg around. So we're going to full mat exercise here, but we are supporting that leg and giving it a little extra resistance to work with. So you want to keep the rest of the body as streamlined as possible here. Hips stay square, etc. And now reversing. The further away you push your leg here, the more work it's going to be for your glutes and for the core too. Feel free to stay with a knee bend here. That can be a good way to modify. Get a little more stability in there. I'm going to switch legs. The right foot down. Find the place that works for you. Circle the left leg now. You can adjust to how much tension do I want here? What's harder? What's easier? What feels right for the body? You know how supportive the reformer is for our body. That's one thing we're missing when we have to do this on our own, is that supportive quality of the springs. So we have to try to recreate that. And now switch direction. Keep the hips steady here. You're anchoring yourself into your mat. Try not to get too tight in your neck and jaw. I know you're very tense. So we try to bring the breath down a little bit more into the core here. Help relax the upper body. And then we come out of the loops here. I'm pretending to be stepping out of our feet and strapped. Hopefully feel to really work the lower body here, stretch it out a little bit. So now bring your knees to your chest, rock side to side a couple of times. Very good. We're going to take it from there to a rolling to our side and then press up to a seated position. How are you doing so far?
Good.
Pretty good? Yeah? Very good. Well, so hopefully these are also exercises that we recognize that are somewhat familiar to what we're doing in the class or in our workout, and it feels familiar and the choreography makes sense here. So the next sequence we're going to do here is going to be seated. Feel free to grab some water too if you have something to drink. We are exerting ourselves. So this can be done two ways. We can do it both with a band and with a weight. So I'll mix it up a little bit here. I'm going to let you decide what you want to do, what feels right for your body. So one of the things that the band is requiring of us here is to sit with our legs straight. So if that's not a good option for you, I would probably grab the weights. So what we're going to do here is put the band, if you're using the band, around the feet. And then try to work on a really tall spine here. You want to be up in your most neutral spine. So you're really lifting yourself out of your hips, getting yourself into your core here, and then taking the arms just almost down to the floor, but just a little, just above the floor here. Palms are facing in for this one. I'm just going to press my arms back. And then this is another mid-back sequence. So you're feeling you're working that space in the back here, not just the shoulders, but just everything we can get to here. So keep that going. Now, if you were to use your weights instead, that would be fine. You're just gonna have to go a little, you can sit legs out, or you can sit cross-legged with this and just do a little arm press back here. So you're gonna have more range of motion probably, but just try to emulate the exercise, keeping it as similar as possible. Palms facing in, shoulders pushing back, tall spine. Very good. Now, just to progress it here, let the arms go up higher. I notice you, with using the band, you're feeling this. Staying with here, whether it's the band or it's your weights. You're pressing out, it gets harder. Woo. All right, so here's a little trick that I just came up with today. So what you're gonna do is, you're gonna turn your palms in, wrap your elbows into the band. Keep the palms up like this. So notice what I did. I went from here, airplane, to rotate the arms, push the elbows out. And here's our elbow exercise. Press the elbows out and back. Just like on the reformer, same exercise, same work here, but getting the band to do the work. Try to keep the wrist straight here too if you can. And again, this is terrific with the weights too. You can do the same thing, getting your elbows to go out here. A nice form. Keeping the shoulders away from your ears, everything is nice and open. Very nice. So now we're going to go into a little half roll back. And for this one, everyone can keep the legs extended. It helps, you notice this on the reformer, the same as tree here on the floor. It helps across your ankles. It helps to stabilize, but you don't have to, but that's the way you can do it. So if you have your cans with you here, you're gonna roll back into a little C curve and do a little biceps with it. Then come back up again. Now if you're using the band, you can stay parallel with your feet. You can cross them still, that works too. And now you're just gonna kind of loop the band so your palms are facing you and you're doing the same thing here. Come back. So the rule with the flex band goes, the shorter the band, the tighter the band, the more upper body you're gonna get. And the longer the band, the more core you're gonna get to. So both have their pros and cons here, just finding out what your body wants to do. Try to keep the elbows up too if you can. Now from this position, go ahead and just roll back. You have your soup cans for your waist, put them right here up against your chest. Now we twist side to side. It's not a big movement, just rotating 40 degrees. Turn and open, turn and open. So same here. But you don't have the help of the band when you're doing this with the weights. So it's a little extra work for the core here. Nice little rotation. Here we go, 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. And I roll it up, take a deep breath here. Exhale, stretch out over your legs. Very nice. So, we like to work the body in all the different positions on the reformer. So now it's time for us to come face down. So we're going to do this with our band and with our weights. If you have your band with you, have it handy, go ahead and put it so it's kind of right underneath your lower sternum. So not up here and not down by your belly button, but kind of above it. We want to aim for that. We're going to come to our stomach with that band in place right there. And then we can just let the body get a little warm up here. Extend the legs and do a couple of presses up and down, where you're just lifting the crown of the head, drawing the shoulders back, and then releasing her. And you notice from Reformer, it's really hard for us to get that space in the mid-back to open up. So we give it a few repetitions here. And at the same time, we focus on pulling in through the deep abdominal. So after a few repetitions, we tend to have a little more mobility back there. And now we can add the band to this. So the band should stay where you are, and you're just gonna pull your hands up behind you and then back down here. So you're actually using your body weight to keep the band down, but you're also using the band to get your triceps and then mid-back to open up here. And ideally, we feel this all the way down into our glutes and hamstrings too. So it's a full body experience here. And those of you with the weights in your hands, will just follow along the same exercise here. You can feel free to take your arms out a little more to the sides. So it's not just tricep here, but it's just that whole back body being worked here. Here we go one more time. And now we get to the best part here, which is get to sit back in our child's pose. So press yourself back and relax your body completely here. Deep breath in, full breath out. Recovery is the best part here. Very good. We're being very efficient today. I think that's part of having the mat version of this instead of the reformer is that transitions are very smooth. We don't have anywhere to go. This would be what we do on the long box. So if we're on the reformer, this would be a long box exercise. Now, we're going to pretend that we're staying on the long box and doing feet pulling strap. And if you have a long band, this is an excellent exercise to incorporate the band. But I have a variation for you if you don't have the band too. So we're going to come up into all four here, and we're going to be kneeling. And the tricky part, if you have the band, is to get into it, to get yourself positioned here the way you want it. But you're going to take the band and grab it in both hands and get it behind you, and then put the band around the arch of the right foot here. Then grab whatever's left of your band, place it underneath your hands, and then you want to get your left leg out of the way here. So I'm going to step my left leg out of the band. Put the hands right underneath your shoulders. This is a neutral spine exercise. You want to keep yourself nice and elongated here. And then you're going to dorsiflex that right foot. Get your core ready. So I'm scooping in. And then you're going to kick the leg straight back with that band. With as little torque in your hip as possible. So this is that lovely feet pulling strap exercise on the reformer, only there we keep the legs straight as we're kicking it back. Now, since we have a band in our hand, you could add by lifting the opposite arm. Get a full body exercise here. Lots of core stability. But what if we don't use the band for this? Well, you just keep using the leg exercise and pull one of your weights in on the opposite side here. Get that evenness here, get that symmetry in the body. Is it time to switch? So if you have your foot in the band right now, all you want to do is step the left foot in to join the right foot, and then step the right foot out. It's a quick, easy transition there for the band. And then we get going on this side, same thing. Kick the leg back and release. Kick the leg back and release. Really lifting up through the core. This is more abdominal work than we might sometimes realize. We want to hold on with those upper abdominals and support that upper body and shoulder girdle here so we don't sink into it. It's going to be really hard, but try to lift yourself away from the mat. And again, feel free to extend the opposite arm. And with no band, it's a little more just like a mat exercise. With that nice upper body component here. And then we come back to release. Very nice. Now carefully step out of the band if you're using the band. On the reformer, in the mat work, everywhere in Pilates, there's always a plank or long stretch exercise showing up. So we're going to do this with a band, and I'll show you what you can do. It works really well without the band too, so it's not a requirement. But take the band, if you have it, on the back of your rib cage, kind of in the middle, and run the band between the thumb and the rest of your fingers. Come to all four where you just were here. Now, maybe your wrists are a little sore from what we just did, so feel free to climb down onto your elbows for this too. That works just as well. You know, we have options here. And then you're going to let your knees step out a little bit and drop yourself forward. So whether you are on your hands or you have dropped down to your elbows, this is the same exercise. We're assuming a knee plank position here, trying to get ourselves into really good form. I want to see as little shoulder blade poking out as possible. There's a lot of shoulder blade poking out. I probably need to adjust my form here. Now you can move it up a little bit by curling onto your toes. And the key thing with the band is we're pushing up into it. And that's the way we're going to get that nice upper body focus. So pushing up into the band here. Feel free to stay with level 1. So this is a good level 1 exercise. We can practice the plank without as much strain here. And now let's pretend we're on that virtual reformer. So we're moving the carriage in and out. Exhale to move it forward. Inhale to move it back. Again, we have that same option on our elbows. Holding that core. Keep pushing into that band, maintaining the form here. We go 3, and 2, and 1. And let's go for another little relaxation here. So sit back onto your heels and stretch your body out. Very nice. That's a tough one. If you have a little soreness in your wrist from all that upper body work we did, feel free to put the hands on the side or the back of the rib cage while you're stretching out here. Taking deep breaths. This is a good shoulder stretch too. And then we slowly roll up from there. Very nice. We're doing great so far. So what do we do when we reformer towards the end of class? Well, usually there's a side split sequence showing up. So great exercise we can do on the floor with our band or even with the weights. So let's have us come up again onto a standing position. I'm going to readjust the camera so you can see. There we go. And for this, it's a little balance work too here, but I think you're going to be okay with it. I actually like to use my band on the mat because the mat is a little bit slippery, and that can be a help for us here. We want to have a little slippery surface for the feet to move onto. Now take your band, if you're using the band here, and step onto it. This is very similar to what we did in the warm-up. This is also a balance exercise, so if you have something to hold on to here, if you want to get onto a piece of furniture to be a little more secure, you can do that too. Okay, so we're standing up, and now we're just going to assume that same form, always thinking about posture connecting into your core here. And you're gonna hold on, start with a little bit of tension first so we know what we're getting into here. You're just gonna slide the foot out and slide the foot back. Slide the foot out, slide the foot back. On mat, this is pretty easy to get the foot going here. You can test it out on the floor. If you have carpet, slide the foot out, slide the foot back. You feel like, oh, I want more tension, then you just tighten up that flex band a little bit, but try to do this and still keep your perfect form here. Stay nice and centered all the way through. Good job here. Keeping that posture. Now, what if we didn't have the band? I'll tell you this really quick. All I would do here is do this exercise, but do it as a kick instead. So I would actually lift my leg up and then have a weight here on my leg. Surprisingly hard to do that, to lift one leg up without sinking into that hip or doing other funny things here. Just doing a straight up leg kick really gets us into our glute med very quickly. Okay, so we're gonna switch sides now. So if you have the band, it's time to just let the other leg skate out to the side and back. Out and back. Well, you feel like you work that side now. It becomes very obvious when we switch it over. Like that's a lot more tired. So just shifting the body weight a little bit and then slide it back here. And then this is just like when we're on the reformer, we can identify muscle discrepancies here where we are a little stronger, where we're a little weaker, where we need a little more core stability and help get through it here. And again, if you're using our weights, then you're just going to kick the leg up. Without tipping over, you're staying centered, so the leg is the only thing moving here. Very nice. Last two. Whew. Last one. The last one gets smaller and smaller here. Very nice. Now let's put all of this away. Do a little standing stretch. We're going to start to cool down a little bit now. Everything is being worked. We're really nice and open in our body. So we just want to get a little stretch. And this is similar to what we did in the beginning of class. But there's a hip component here that I want to add to this. And make sure you can see what I'm doing. So watch to the mirror here too if you see can't see my feet. So you're going to take the right leg, cross the right leg behind the left leg here. I'm moving up so you can see it through the mirror what I'm doing. So the right leg is behind the left leg. Then I take the right arm and I'm going to pop that right hip out and just really stretching out that whole hip and that glute. You can now use the left hand and pull on that right arm here. Very nice. So really good side bend that we're getting into, helping to stretch the glutes. Make sure we're not bending forward necessarily. We're just going to the side and you're using your arms here. So coming down into kneel, you can see what I'm doing with my arms. So you're using your bottom arm to tug a little bit on that top hand here. Deep breath. And then open up to release. And let's switch sides now. So you're going to take the left leg and cross it behind the right leg, keeping the hips square when we start this. Now take the left arm up and then grab with the right hand and pop that left hip out to the side. Pop it out. And again, you might notice the differences in strength or flexibility here, so we just want to keep going with that. Pop it out all the way. Very nice. And then opening up to release from there. So we're going to return back to the mat for one last exercise here. This will be our cool down exercise. And the reformer allows us to do a really wonderful single thigh stretch. Get that deep hip flexor, get that structure of the hip and the pelvis back. We're gonna have to figure that out on the mat, what we can do to emulate that. So you're gonna put the right leg forward. You're gonna keep your hips really square here. You're gonna take your band, and if you have it, and place the band around the front of the shin as flat as you can get it, and then move that right foot forward a little bit. Now we're just gonna drop into a little single thigh stretch. You're just sending the hips forward, and at the same time, get a little bit of tension on that band here. So keep the chest open here. Bring the sternum forward. Contract your core so you're maintaining that form. Gently pulling the shoulder blades together. Give yourself more band if you want to. Shouldn't be too much work for the arms now. We're kind of cooling down, so you don't want to make it too hard. One more time on this side. Now let's switch sides. Go wide step forward with the left foot here. Get the band to be as flat as possible. Hips are square, shoulders are pulled back, and then moving the body forward. Stay tall. Connect with your breath as we get through the last exercises of the day. Get that deep hip flexor to lengthen out a little bit. Here we go, one last time. And carefully release. Very nice. Let's have you come back up to standing now. And you get to see my face, finally. So, just want to say, we're actually going to take some deep breaths in here. I want to say thank you so much for participating today. I will definitely record this class. You will be able to go back and do it again. But we're going to end here with a deep breath in. Stretch your arms up. And exhale, open. I'm doing a little plie here so you can see my face. Deep breath in. Open and stretch. Reach up. Exhale. One more time. Take a deep breath in for good health. Good days ahead for us. Spread that love. Exhale, open. Bring our hands together. A good practice here. Thank you all very much. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for taking the class, and hope you enjoyed it. And a lot more good classes coming up this week, so I hope you tune in often. Feel free to email me with thoughts and feedback, and yeah, it really helps us. We're going to keep building the schedule every week, so it really helps to have you here. Thank you so much. Thank you, Robert.